So welcome student of class 10 in the part 3 of the chapter that is your agriculture. So in the previous part we have discussed various things, like for an example we were discussing about the major crops, and in this major crops we have seen the food crops as well as the non-food crop, that is your oilseed crops. Okay. And in this video we are going to see the remaining crops, that is your beverages crop, horticulture crops and your fiber crops. Okay, so let's see one by one. So when we talk about our beverages crop, we remember the time when the British has occupied India, when the tea was forcibly introduced in our country, and we were supposed to produce the tea in order to rotate the trade between the European country, that is your UK, the India and your China. So here there was a triangular trade regarding this beverages crop, that is your tea. So that is a history for us, and this is how the tea was introduced in our country, and from then till date the people have now been addicted in the tea. So we are the large producer as well as the consumer of tea. So let's see what are the greatest features that we have on the blackboard. So the first one, it tells about that tea is a plantation agriculture. So tea, why is it called a plantation agriculture? Because it is grown throughout the year. It is very tender, so that is why it has to be grown in a very careful manner, and it is to be grown in the hilly area, because in that area the waters will not accumulate, and if the water accumulates, then what happens? Slowly and steadily the roots will get will be destroyed, and with that we will have not good growth of the tree. Okay, so it grows well in the tropical and the subtropical climate. It grows both in the tropical region as well as the subtropical region, which means we can grow it in the southern state also and in the northern state also. And basically the good terrain topography is important for it. As I told you, the water should not be accumulated. The water should run through the terrain, so that the good growth of the plant is going to take. Its soil should be rich in the organic matter and the humus. We know that the top soil, which is very rich in the organic matter because of our humus, this soil enriches this root of the tea. So that is why it should have a good nutrient as well as the humus contained in the soil in order to have a good production of the tea. Besides these, we will see that tea bushes need moist, free and warm climate throughout the year. I mean, there should not be any kind of a snowfall, and too much of rain can also spoil the tree. So that is why it should have rain, but in the drizzling manner the rain is good for the leaves. Frequent showers required for maintaining the tender leaves. As I have told you, it is a very tender plant. We need to take various means to protect it. So the different measures have been taken. Like for an example, we drizzle in the form of a shower frequently in order to see and that the leaves are remaining green throughout the growing period. After that, it is a highly labor-intensive industry, because here we need both skill and the cheap labor. Okay, so in order to have a good productions, there should be the people who know how to twig the leaves, and they should also have in a cheap manner. So it is processed in the tea garden in order to maintain the freshness of the leaves. So that is why the networking has not been taken. It has been done itself in the field. The states which basically have the highest growth of the tea production, we all know exactly, it is Assam, and then we are having Darjeeling tea is also famous. Then next to that we are having the other states which is coming forward, like your Jalpaiguri, then your West Bengal, your Kerala, your Tamil Nadu, your Himachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Uttarakhand, your Arunachal Pradesh and your Tripura. So these are the states which produce the tea in the large quantity. And then what is the temperature which is required? Then it requires 20 degree centigrade centigrade to 30 degree centigrade. And the rainfall is 150 to 250 centimeter. Okay, so the rainfall needs to be there, because as we told you, we need to maintain the freshness, and the freshness will maintain only when there is a moist climate. India is the largest grower of tea. Okay, so this was your one of the beverages crop, and the next beverages crop which is just coming before you is your coffee. So the next crop, beverages crop is our coffee. Okay, so it is also one of the tropical crop. So India is known for the best quality of coffee, that is Arabica. Okay, which was brought from Yemen. Okay, it was an Arabian country from where this coffee has been come, and the Arabica is a well-renowned quality variety which is demanded all over the world. Okay, so this variety is in great demand all over the world. The states which basically produce this coffee are your Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. Okay, so these are the main production center where we have the large abundance of your coffee. Then the temperature which it requires for the growth is 18 degrees centigrade to 28 degrees centigrade. So this is the temperature which it requires, and the rainfall it requires is 125 to 200 centimeter. Okay, it grows best in the loamy soil, but it also grows in your red and the laterite soil. Okay. And as I told you in the tea that it needs a well-drained hill area where the waters will not accumulate under the root, and if it accumulates, the root will be turned it will not have a proper growth of a plant, and it will deteriorate. Okay, so for that reason a well-drained hill has been important here for the growth of the coffee. So we have seen the beverages crop. One is your tea and other is your coffee. The things to be noted down here is what? The drugs which has been found in your tea is your nicotine, and in your coffee is your caffeine. Okay, so with this we have completed our beverages crop, and the next two heading is your horticulture crop and your fiber crops. Quickly we will see these crops also. So what do we mean by the horticulture? So we all know when together collectively when we produce the fruits and the vegetables, then that is being known as your horticulture. So India indeed is very rich in the productions of different kinds of fruits as well as in vegetables. Okay, so let us see what do we have on our board. So we have seen that in 2015 India occupied the second place after China in the productions of vegetables and fruits. Okay. After that we have seen that in the various regions are there mentioned here on the board, which is famous for the different types of fruits. Like for an example, in Maharashtra, UP, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and West Bengal are famous for mangoes. Okay, so the Alfonso mango we know is one of the famous mango of your Mumbai region. After that we have seen Cherrapunji and Nagpur are famous for their oranges. Cherrapunji is also famous for the bananas. Cherrapunji bananas are very big, very long, and it is very rich in iron. Okay, and the third is your Mizoram, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, which are rich in your bananas. And UP and BR, of course, we know that they are rich in our lychees and different kind of Malda mangoes, and also your guavas. And then we are having our grapes, the grapes here, which is the state which is very rich. That is your Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. After that, we are having Meghalaya here, who is rich in your pineapple. We are having the different pineapples in the Meghalaya, which is very juicy and very big. Okay. After that, we see that Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, they are famous for pears, they are famous for apples, it is famous for walnuts, it is also famous for the apricots. Okay. And what are the things which is to be noted here is that Indian bananas and mangoes are are in huge demand outside the country. So all over the country, our Indian bananas and mangoes are huge in demand. Besides that, we are having also the various kind of vegetables. So India is occupying the first place in the production of cauliflower and your pea. इसको हम लोग मटर कहते हैं नहीं. And second in your tomato, cabbage and brinjal, and fourth in your potato. Okay, so beside this we are having other vegetables and fruits also, but these are having an important and a prominent place all over the world. And the next crop which we are going to discuss is your fiber crop. So let's see what do we have in our fiber crop. So in the fiber crop, let's see, we are having 4 fiber crops. That is your jute, cotton, hemp, as well as your silk. Silk is also one of your fiber crop. Okay. So these fiber crops are grown in our country. Okay, in different parts of our country. And the first 3, that is your jute, cotton, and hemp, are basically grown in the soil. And your silk is been obtained from the cocoons of the silkworm. Okay, and this silkworm grows in which leaves? Then they grow in the mulberry leaves. Okay, so the production of silk fiber through the cocoons is known as your sericulture. Okay, so what is your sericulture? The productions of silk fiber from the cocoons of the silkworm is known as your sericulture. So this is one of your fiber. The second fiber which is important for us, that is your jute. So let's see what do we have for the jute. So the jute is requiring a temperature of 27 degrees centigrade to 34 degrees centigrade. Okay. And the rainfall which it requires is 170 to 200 centimeter of rainfall. It needs abundance of water because it needs to be soaked in the water. So that is why it needs lots amount of water to be grown. It grows in well-drained fertile soil in the floodplains where the soil is renewed every year. Okay, so in the coastal regions where we have a floodplains now, where time to time the sea water comes inside and it brings the different sediments to enrich the soil. So these areas are known as your floodplains. So jute requires such kind of an area where the soils are being time to time fertile with the help of the newer sediments which comes and deposit in that area. So it needs a high temperature and it also requires it needs a high temperature during the period of the growth. Okay, so it needs about how many temperature? 27 degrees centigrade to 34 degrees centigrade. And the states which produce your jute is your West Bengal, your Assam, your Bihar, your Meghalaya, and your Odisha. So West Bengal and Odisha are the major production of your jute because these lies in the coastal regions. And it is one of the environment friendly crop, you can say, because it helps to make the various kind of environment friendly goods, like for an example, gunny bags, ropes, mats, carpets, yarn, and other ornamental artifacts. So it is helpful in both the order, in the production in the field also, as well as keeping our environment neat and green. Okay, so there are various things which can be made by it. The next fiber crop which we have before us is our cotton. Cotton is yet again one of the kharif crop which requires a temperature of 21 degrees centigrade to 27 degrees centigrade, and the rainfall is 50 to 80 centimeter. Okay. The chief raw material, it is one of the chief raw material for the cotton textile industries. We all know this. The cotton textile industry's important raw material is your cotton, and it grows well in the black soil. So that is why the black soil is also known as the cotton soil or the raccoon soil. We all know that the Deccan Plateau is made up of your igneous and metamorphic rocks which are rich in your black soil. So that is why the southern Indian states, for an example, your Gujarat, your Maharashtra, besides this, the other peninsular states, like for an example, your Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, then your these states are being rich in your cotton production. Besides this, there are some other states which have used the modern techniques and they have helped their regions to develop this kind of a crop. Is your Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. So they grow cotton in abundance. Okay. Things to be noted down here is what it needs: a high temperature and light rainfall. Okay, light rainfall, and it needs 210 frost-free day, and a bright sunshine is needed for the growth. So these are the things which needs to be noted. So with this we have seen the various crop productions in our country. We have seen the major crops which has been kept in the different criteria. One is your food crop, under which we have discussed about the various cereals like your rice, wheat, millet, maize, pulses and your sugarcane. Then the next is your non-food crop, that is your oilseed crops, which helps in our lots of edible oil. Like for an example, groundnut and mustard makes 50% of edible oil. Besides this, we have other oil also: soybean, sesame, linseed and sunflower. And then we have discussed about the beverages crops. These are two in number. One is your tea and the other is coffee. Both are the subtropical and the tropical crops, and both need high terrain regions where the water is not being accumulated. After that, we have discussed about the various horticulture crops like your fruits and vegetables. India is rich in different fruits and vegetables, and at different regions we are having various amount of and varieties of vegetables and fruits. Then we have discussed about the fiber crop, which is one of the important raw material for the development of our industries. With this, I presume that the lecture would be meaningful for you and it should be more informative. And in the next and the final lecture, we will discuss about the technological and institutional reform. Till then, have a good day and take care.